Better late than never. Hello, welcome back. It's been about 2 months since my last video that I've done, or was a day in the life of me, but I have had a lot happen since that video. I was recently at was kind of a show. It was pretty fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you my experiences from when I, as an artist, was there for Sakura-Con and how that went for me. Overall, just in general, like despite like what had happened, it was a pretty fun event. I'd never vended before. It's by lottery that you get in, so it was pretty exciting to actually get into this large con. It was actually my first ever event that was 3 days long. And I'd never done an event like this before, so I didn't know what to expect, but I did sell out of a lot of designs. Like my stickers were like the hot like thing that I sold. A couple of prints, some originals and traditionals that I did, which was pretty cool selling some of those since I'm a traditional artist. But it was mainly a sticker weekend. Stickers were really big at this event. So let's talk about what happened exactly.
Cubes.
I may not have a lot of footage to show. I didn't really record a lot. I was kind of mainly trying to get like to my spot and everything set up. But on Thursday is when I drove down to Seattle, and that wasn't too bad of a drive, about 4 hours from where I'm at. And when we got there, the instructions for load-in was you would go into this parking garage and then you would just park there, unload all your stuff, because I'm just hand carrying my stuff. I'm not unloading anything through a trailer. And we got all of our stuff and then went to go use the elevator that they had to like load the stuff up, but it was closed at 5 for some reason, despite the fact that they said in the information booth that the artist alley setup would be open until 8. Walked through the entire parking garage after not being able to find the parking garage because it was in a really weird spot. Got all our stuff up to the table, got our badge, got everything all set up, and then they told us at the information desk, they're like, oh, make sure that you're not table sharing with anybody. If you are, you will get in trouble. You'll be barred from the event and then you'll be removed. I wasn't table sharing, but that's just the warning that they had given us. So got the table all set up, everything was good and dandy, and then it happened. It got really bad. So I wake up at 8, and I was actually running a little late, so I didn't actually get to start leaving until somewhere closer to 10 o'clock. So about like 9:45 is when I started leaving, but I was only a 10-minute walk from my hotel. And as I'm getting ready, I hear sirens going off, like fire truck sirens. And you know, it's a city. It's a big, you know, there's going to be all sorts of, you know, siren sounds. And then it was only going on for a little bit, then it stopped, and I thought that was a little weird. You know, it's, you know, whatever. So we start walking down there, and then I notice there's fire trucks all over the place, and they have the road for the convention center has been blocked off by police and fire trucks. People are still kind of walking by, but not in like the area where they're doing work. And it turns out that at the Seattle Convention Center, it's actually like a building connected via a sky bridge to the other building, and the only way to get into the artist alley is to go into the main building, go up 3 floors, go across the sky bridge, and then you get to the artist alley. But below them, the Cheesecake Factory caught fire. So that was interesting. So I go to a staff and I ask what's going on, and they say that the Cheesecake Factory caught fire below the artist alley, and because all the HVAC systems are connected, the smoke went into the ventilation system and then up into the artist alley and decided to smoke it out. I was not one of the artists that was there, but there were artists that were there setting up, and they had to be evacuated due to the smoke. And I've seen some videos of people recording it, and it was just a lot of smoke. It was pretty bad. So I got there at 10 o'clock and waited for them to open. I hung out with some friends until then, but we were getting very little information from the staff. We got an email at 10 o'clock and then an email, I think, at like noon, and then nothing else after the noon email. They had to wait for fire marshals to come through and check and make sure everything was okay and make sure that nothing was smoked out, and they had to like air it out. But I was there from 10 until 3 p.m. 3 p.m. was when they let all the artists in, and they had to separate the artists and the attendees, because in this room we were all waiting, it was attendees and it was artists waiting to get into the artist alley, which probably they should have been stopping people who were attendees from going up in that area for that reason, just because it would have been better for all the artists to have just been up there and waiting, because there were like a mob of people, like at least 200 people were waiting up in the area for the artist alley to open. So while we were waiting for it to open, Sakura-Con said, oh, go check out the vendor hall, which is in the Summit building, which is like around the block, which wasn't affected by the fire. And they had reached max capacity for that building like very quickly, like 20,000 people. They had to like stop people from going in because that building was full. Like, it was full of people, and it was people just waiting to get into the artist alley. And then when it opened back up, they let all the artists through. They, made sure they all had to check over badges, got the table set back up, and then the floodgates open, and it was just people. There was so many people, and it was just a flood of just bodies into that room. I felt the temperature increase by at least 10 degrees, and my Square reader had stopped connecting to the data connection. There were so many people that I didn't have service. Like, it was just so dense. As compensation for being down for so long on the busiest day of the weekend being Saturday, they extended the artist alley. It was originally supposed to be open from 10 to 3 or 10 to 6, and then they extended it to be open from 3 to 9, so they kept it open pretty late. So that was Saturday during the day, and then I was there and then went home. I went back to my hotel, but then apparently later that night at like 1 o'clock in the morning, the Cheesecake Factory again had a gas leak, I guess, and so that was part 2 of Saturday being an absolute mess.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Sunday was all right. It wasn't like anything. It wasn't like super slow or super busy. It was also Easter and 420, so if that means anything to anybody, I got to meet some fans, which was pretty nice. It was cool to see people that like have bought my stuff all the way back in Wasabi-Con of 2021, back before they became awful people. To meet some fans, I got to meet all sorts of cool artists, people I've been following for a while, which is pretty sick. Got to meet Inkwell, which is pretty cool. It's one of my favorite artists that I follow on YouTube and on Instagram. But Single Sploot as well. Shout outs to those two. But it was pretty cool to go to this 3-day event. Meet friends, meet artists, see people that I've only ever seen at events, and like being a vendor with these big name artists and other people that I've met. It's kind of surreal to me as being such a small artist. I don't go to a lot of events. I try to get to as many as I can, but I know how hard it can be. It's such a huge competition. Like Komori-Con is the closest con to me, and that con is like really cutthroat. I've been playing for years and I've not gotten in before. Same what people said about Sakura-Con. They've been playing for years and haven't been able to get in, but that's just the nature of conventions now. It's just everything's so much harder to get into such large competition. I think Komori-Con had like 600 applicants, 600 or 800 applicants, like spots open, and their applications were only open for about an hour and a half. Overall, I mean, it was a fun con. It was a unique experience. It was fun despite everything that happened. But, we kind of all, as artists and attendees, I guess we kind of all bonded over the fact that we were all kind of screwed over by that Cheesecake Factory incident, but we got to make some funny merch out of it. I'm probably going to make some too. Until next time, I guess I'll see you guys when if I want to make another video about cons, but until then, I'll see you then.